Hey everyone! So I just wanted to do a quick little video for you guys today, and hopefully it helps some people. First I want to talk about fake stones and how to know if you're buying fake stones. There is a lot of fake stones being sold online, and unfortunately it's really hard to tell when you're just looking at a picture. It's pretty much almost impossible to tell if you're buying fake stones by just looking at a picture. So you're really not going to know until you get them at home. But the first thing to think about is the price, and that's really going to tell you, that's your first sign, is if something is really cheap and it's normally an expensive stone, but it's like a really good price, usually, most likely, then it's a fake stone. And stones like sugilite, tanzanite, moldavite, all those stones are very expensive and they're being sold as fakes. And turquoise is another one, and how they do this is basically for the sugilite and turquoise, is all it is dyed howlite. And howlite is a stone, and it's a white stone. So basically what they do with howlite is they take it and they dye it all these different colors: red, orange, yellow, green, blue. You can dye howlite any color, and it's actually really pretty. I have some right here that I will show you, and it's very, very common. I mean, you see this everywhere, and people mistake this for turquoise all the time, and it's very easy to do. But howlite is still a stone, so it's not as bad. But if it's being called turquoise, then you are being misled. But usually, it is called turquoise a lot of times, so you just got to be careful with it. But it does look like turquoise too, because I'll show you right here. This is actual real turquoise, so it's very hard, as you can see, it's very hard to tell a difference between the two. I mean, it's almost impossible. But there is definitely a difference, and the difference in the two is the price, for one thing. I bought a very big bag of this, and it was probably like $6 for a big bag of this one here, and then this little bag for about this much was about $15. So there is a definite difference in price for the two stones. But I wanted to explain to you guys something that they've been doing with stones that, now, most likely, just really try to avoid to buy stones from China, because most likely if you're buying cheap stones from China, they are definitely fake. And more times than not, this is the case. When I first started making my Orgonite, I really didn't have a lot of money, and I was trying to, save as much as I could on buying really cheap stuff. So China, of course, had the best prices, so I was buying all my little beginner starter kits and stones from China. And I bought some citrine, thinking I would be okay with citrine. Like, I figured they couldn't fake, citrine out of all stones. But it arrived, and as soon as I opened it up, guess what? The stone felt really strange. I don't have it to show you guys because I threw it away, but I could tell right away there was no energy. It just felt weird. It was like, this is not citrine. So what you can do if you have some doubt is you can get nail polish remover and a Q-tip and rub it on the stone. And if the dye comes off, then you definitely know it's fake. So that's what I did, and the yellow dye came right off the stone. I knew it was fake, contacted the seller right away, and I got my money back right away. So that is one thing you can do. But another thing you can do, which I just recently found out, well, actually not recently, I found this out a while ago, because I already know, if you see, this was tanzanite, so I thought. I got this on eBay, and I know that if you see something on eBay, especially tanzanite, if it's listed as cheap, that it's fake, right? I mean, I'll let you see a close-up. This looks pretty darn real. It's supposed to be rough tanzanite, right? Anyways, I know not to be tricked by that, and I knew back then, but what happened is it was a auction, so I figured, oh cool, it's an auction, so maybe I'll win it for a low price. And so I was doing the auction, and guess what? I won the auction for like $15 for this big pile of tanzanite. And that was such a good deal, you guys. I was so excited. I can't remember how many carats this is. I think it's like 200 or 300 carats of tanzanite or something like that. I don't know. I was so excited, you guys. Oh my gosh. I couldn't wait to get it. So anyways, I got it home, and I couldn't wait to start putting it in my Orgonite. These are obviously way too big to put in my pendants, so what I do before I put rocks like this in my pendants is I break them up into small pieces. And I will show you. So I bought this like tanzanite like a couple of years ago, and I still have the big pile of it because I don't put fake rocks in my Orgonite. I think that's wrong, and I would never ever do that. So when I found out it was fake, it was too late to contact the seller, so I was kind of, you know, just out of luck on that. But here's how I found out it was fake. Because I went to cut the rock to make it small to put into my pendants, and basically I take this little tool here and just do that, and this god-awful smell started stinking up my room every time I cut the rock. It really smelled like someone passed gas, you know, like a bad fart. And I was like, what in the world is that? So I finally realized that it was the rock, and it was happening every time I cut it with my tool. So I was like, that is sulfur. So I googled fake tanzanite made of sulfur, and there you go. That's what they're doing now. And they don't only do it with tanzanite, they do it with all kinds of rocks. And not a lot of people know that. They can easily dupe you with that. And you know, people that are making Orgonite, it's easy to get fooled because we're not polishing these rocks or anything. We're just throwing them into some resin, so we wouldn't really figure it out that they were fake. So that's something to pay attention to. If you start breaking your rocks and they stink like that, then you know they're not real. So definitely be careful with that. Another thing they do with moldavite is they take glass, and I think they put it in like acid or something, and then that's how they make it look like moldavite. So you got to be really careful with buying fake moldavite. Just make sure you get your stones from someone that you know that that they're getting, that they're selling real stones, because it's really hard to trust people on eBay anymore. It's getting pretty ridiculous. And but anyways, these are the tanzanite that I use now. They're real tanzanite. I don't ever put fake stones in my Orgonite. I don't think that is right. I would never do something like that. I make my Orgonite because it makes me feel happy, to make people happy, and bring good energy to people. So, and I want my pieces to, to be full of energy, so that's why, I make it. And so putting fake rocks in there, it bugs me when people fool people like that and sell fake rocks. It's just wrong. So on to the other thing about Orgonite I wanted to talk about is how to make Orgonite, and what a lot of people have been doing. Now, I am not here to put down other people's work because that's not what I'm about to do, okay? I did not make this pyramid, and I did not make this pendant, and I'm not putting them down. I think they're both very beautiful, and that's why I purchased them. I like to purchase other artists' work. I think that it's important to support other Orgone artists, and I love handmade work, and I love to support people. So I'm not trying to put anybody down, and I'm just trying to get the word out there for people who are making Orgonite, how important it is to include metal in your pieces, because yes, making them beautiful is fun, and it's getting, being creative, and people like to buy beautiful pieces. They don't like to buy ugly pieces. I understand that part of it, but you need to put metal in your Orgonite, and you need to put crystals in your Orgonite in order to create the Orgone energy. That's the whole point of Orgone. So what I'm trying to say here is I bought this piece online, and all this is colored resin. This is a paperweight, you guys. This has like literally no metal in it. There's maybe like a little bit of metal sprinkled here, and then this beautiful turquoise wire. It's beautiful, but it's plastic. I mean, the wire isn't even, it's not copper, so there's literally no energy coming off of this piece. It's not Orgone. The rocks inside, they're really not even crystals. They're just like dyed, they're just dyed fake rocks. So there's nothing that's energetically powerful in here. So it does not make it an Orgonite. What this is a beautiful paperweight. There's no energetic value to it. And I think what's happening online is people are having fun making these beautiful pieces and selling them like crazy for, really low prices, and other people are buying them and they're thinking they're beautiful and that they're protecting their home, but they're really just buying an empty paperweight that's doing nothing for EMF protection. And I think that's what is happening, and it's a really misconception, and it's really confusing for people. So I just really want to stress that it's so important to fill your pieces with metal and real crystals, not fake dyed crystals, and real copper wire is important too, not plastic colored wires. And just please understand, this piece is beautiful, and it could be an amazing piece if it just had the real ingredients in it that it's supposed to have. And I wanted to also talk about this little tiny cute little pendant I bought. I bought this for $30, and it's really, really tiny, and it's really light, and I was just really shocked when I received it because there's literally no metal in here either. I mean, there's probably, see, there's like a tiny, tiny sprinkle of brass in the middle of that, and that's it. And they are calling this an Orgone pendant. There's not even a piece of quartz in here. That little white stuff, they're saying that that's snow quartz, but I'm not even sure if that's a stone, to be honest. There is absolutely no energy coming out of this either. Now, although it's very cute, this is not Orgonite. And I think, people are buying this for $30 thinking that they're being protected from EMFs if they wear this, and they're not. This is not Orgonite. So, unfortunately, just like these fake rocks, people are getting fooled with this fake Orgonite. And I just want to stress that, because it's not how you make it. You don't just throw a bunch of pretty little colors. This has color in it as well. Of course you can color the resin, but you've got to have the metal and the quartz in there, or else it's just a piece of, a piece of nothing, really. So I just want people to understand how important that is. Now, here's one that I made. Now, you can see, of course, it's not as, it's bigger than this. It's the same kind of mold that they used here. but it's the bigger one. But it's filled with metal, and there's a crystal down the middle. That's what creates the orgone energy. That's what you need inside of there. You can still color the, the resin. You can still put colors in there. You can still put stones in there. You cannot get EMF protection off of something like that. You just can't. So I just wanted to explain that to you guys. And this was a pyramid I made. This is the very, very first pyramid I ever made. And I still have it. I've always saved it. I'm going to keep it forever just because it's my very first one. And I didn't even fill it up with metal in the bottom, which I should have. And my spiral's a little there's kinks in the spirals, which you don't want kinks in your spirals. But see how this is just really filled with metals. There's so much more energy coming off of this piece. There's quartz crystals in here, there's copper, there's all kinds of energetic ingredients in here that are not in this pyramid. Even though this pyramid may look so, much more prettier, this one has so much more of an energetic value, and I just can't stress that enough for people to understand. It's very, very important. And it's not like metal is an expensive ingredient. I mean, yes, if you want fine copper and fine brass and special metals for your orgone, yes, that can be expensive. But if you can go to your local machine shop and ask them for a bucket of some free steel, like see this steel here, you can get that for free, and still have a really nice, decent piece. If you don't have, if you can't afford to put the metal in your piece, it's just, metal is one of the most important ingredients. Not the colors and all that. Yes, making it look pretty is fun to do, yes, but that's not what Orgonite is. So I know I keep repeating myself about that, but I've just been noticing it going around so much with people misunderstanding that, and I just wanted to make it a little bit more clear. So hopefully you guys got that down, and the couple tips about figuring out if rocks are fake: just, you can use the nail polish tip on the rock. You can break it and see if it smells. And there was one more tip on checking if your rock is fake, and now I forget. But the main thing is just I would avoid buying rocks from China, and pay attention to the prices. If the rock is really cheap, most likely it's not real. So anyways, if you ever have any questions, please feel free to ask, and thank you for watching.